You know, some places are so much more than just a dot on a map, right? They're like living stories, forged in these intense moments of crisis and revelation. And today, we're going to dive into one of those exact places, Anandpur Sahib. Now, the name actually means the city of bliss, which is beautiful, but its history? Wow. It's this powerful tale of faith, of sacrifice, and really the birth of a nation. And to really get a sense of its importance, you just have to feel the power in these words from the preface of our source material. The very mention of Anandpur Sahib creates a thrill in the veins of a genuine Sikh. I mean, that quote alone just captures the deep emotional and spiritual connection this place holds. So let's explore why. Our guide for this journey is the really detailed history captured in Dr. Harjinder Singh Diljeer's work, Anandpur Sahib. We're basically going to walk through the key moments that transformed this patch of land into one of the most sacred sites in all of Sikhism. So, how did this city of bliss even begin? Well, it started out peacefully enough, but its destiny, that was shaped by a dramatic and totally defining crisis. What's really interesting here is that there are actually two distinct founding moments. It's not just one single event. Back in 1665, the ninth Sikh Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur, founded a town called Chakk Nanaki. And the location was perfect. I mean, it was tucked away between a river and some hills, just ideal for a peaceful spiritual center. But then, just a decade later, everything changes. And that's what leads to the formal foundation of Anandpur Sahib in 1689. So, that turning point came in 1675. A delegation of Kashmiri Brahmins shows up at Chakk Nanaki, and they have this absolutely desperate plea. The Mughal emperor, Aurangzeb, was forcing them to convert to Islam, and they had come to the Guru as their very last hope. This was a moment that would change the course of history, for sure. Now, as Guru Tegh Bahadur is thinking about this huge challenge, his young son, Gobind Rai, who would later become Guru Gobind Singh, said something incredible. He was just 9 years old, and he says, "Father, it means that you shall have to make a sacrifice." The gravity of that moment and those words coming from someone so young, it's just staggering to think about. And he did. He made that sacrifice. Guru Tegh Bahadur traveled to Delhi and offered his own life to defend the right of another religion to practice freely. He was martyred, but his sacrifice was anything but in vain. It lit a fire. It made it crystal clear that a community was needed that could not only preach peace, but could actively defend justice and freedom. And this brings us to probably the most electrifying event in Anandpur's entire history. After his father's martyrdom, Guru Gobind Singh knew the community had to be transformed. This led to the revelation of the Khalsa, the birth of the saint soldier. Okay, this story is just legendary. It's 1699, the festival of Vaisakhi, and Guru Gobind Singh has gathered thousands of his followers. Then, he does something nobody expected. He draws his sword and makes this shocking demand. He needs a head, a life given in sacrifice for the faith. Can you imagine? The entire crowd just goes silent. Then finally, one man, Dayaram, steps forward. The Guru takes him into a tent. A thud is heard, and the Guru comes back out, his sword dripping with blood. And he asks for another head. He does this again and again until 5 brave men have gone into that tent. The crowd must have been absolutely horrified, just stunned into silence. And then, the tent flap opens, and all 5 men walk out, unharmed. Dressed in new robes, they've been reborn as the Panj Pyare, the 5 beloved ones. And from this incredible, dramatic test of faith, the Khalsa was born. The term itself means sovereign beings of the Almighty, and it defined a whole new type of person, the saint soldier, someone who is spiritually centered but always ready to stand up against tyranny and protect the innocent. Members of the Khalsa would be identifiable by 5 articles of faith, often called the 5 Ks. You've got the Kesh, or uncut hair, which symbolizes spirituality, all the way to the Kirpan, a sword, which represents their duty to defend the weak. Each one holds this deep symbolic meaning, and together they really represent a commitment to a life of discipline, faith, and readiness to defend justice. Now, as you can imagine, the creation of the Khalsa and the fortification of Anandpur did not go unnoticed. The city of bliss was about to become a fortress for justice, and believe me, it was going to be tested almost immediately. So, Guru Gobind Singh had overseen the building of several forts, like Anandgarh and Lohgarh, basically turning the whole area into a strategic military capital. Lohgarh even had its own factory for making weapons. This new strength really started to worry the neighboring rulers, the hill chiefs, who saw this growing Sikh community as a major threat. So, in one famous attack, the hill chiefs came up with what they thought was a surefire plan. They took an elephant, got it drunk, strapped steel plates to its head, and just sent it charging toward the main gate of Lohgarh Fort. The whole idea was just to smash the gate open. So how do you stop an armored drunk war elephant? Well, the Sikh response wasn't a cannon, it wasn't a barricade, it was a single, fearless warrior. Guru Gobind Singh called on Bhai Bachitar Singh and handed him a specially designed spear. The mission was simple: stop that elephant. And this moment, it just perfectly captures the spirit of the Khalsa. Bhai Bachitar Singh charges this massive elephant head-on. He drives his spear with so much force that it literally punches right through the steel armor on its forehead. The elephant, in agony and complete panic, just turns around and stampedes back into its own army. It caused absolute chaos and completely crushed their attack. Incredible. That story of courage is just one of many from Anandpur's history, and it's these events that created a legacy that continues to inspire millions of people all around the world today. A legacy really built on faith and just pure fearlessness. And today, Anandpur Sahib is a thriving city. It's one of the most sacred pilgrimage sites for Sikhs everywhere, a place where the memory of these foundational events is celebrated, and you can still feel it every single day. So at the end of the day, Anandpur Sahib is way more than just a city. It's a symbol. It represents the courage to defend the rights of others, the birth of a sovereign Khalsa identity, and that perfect fusion of spiritual devotion and martial readiness, the ideal of the saint soldier. And that leaves us with a final thought to reflect on. The story of Anandpur Sahib really asks a profound question, one that's just as relevant today as it was over 300 years ago. What does it truly mean to build a community that is both a city of bliss and a fortress for justice?